everybody, I'm Lindsay Adler and I'm a portrait and fashion photographer based in New York City. And actually right now we're inside my New York City studio. But what we're going to talk about today is what's in my bag, the core gear that I cannot live without. But let's actually start off with the bag that I use. And so as a fashion photographer, I don't want to be lugging around a big backpack. I want to look stylish, I want to look chic, and that's why I love this bag. This is a Kelly Moore Jude bag. It's amazing because even though it looks kind of small, we call it a Mary Poppins bag, because when you open it up, you can keep pulling out all this stuff, so it holds all of the essential gear that I need. This is my everyday camera bag, so I'll carry this to and from the studio, or when I go out on location, or when I travel for a seminar for a shoot. This actually carries everything I need, including my laptop, but we're going to get there. I want to start off by talking about the most important thing in my entire bag, and it's right here in the front pouch, and it is my MAC Russian Red Matte Lipstick. You never know, or at least I never know, when I'm going to have an impromptu meeting that I'm invited to with an art director or a potential client, or maybe a party that I need to go to, or whatever it may be. And if I can put on my red lipstick, I'm able to kind of bring it, to step up to that occasion, to look like I'm ready for the meeting. So I actually always keep in my bag my red lipstick, and I've got a few other things in here, like I always keep my business cards, a little bit of jewelry. I've got my red Ray-Bans. But of course, this isn't the gear. This isn't the core of what I need as a photographer. Let's start at the beginning with those core essential pieces of gear. And so of course, it's going to be my camera. The camera that I'm using most often is the Canon 5D Mark III, although I do have a Canon 5DS when I want really high resolution or a lot of detail. And the lens that I have on this camera right now is a Canon 24 to 70 2.8 lens. If I were going out on location or doing a shoot in the studio and I could only have one lens, it would probably be this one because it gives me so much versatility. Now let's take a look at what else is on this camera. For example, I have on a Spyder Pro hand strap. A lot of times when I'm shooting, I've got my hand out over the model for an unusual angle, and this gives me a little bit of safety and a little bit of security. And on the bottom of my camera, I have the mount for my Spyder holster. Now, I've got my Spyder holster in this bag as well. And what this allows me to do is I put this belt on, this holster on, and then I can have my camera at my side, easy to access. It allows me to move more freely. I don't have to worry about having my camera around my neck or setting it down and losing it. And so I use this all the time. I like how durable it is. And then I also like that it's black, so it's sleek. It often blends in with my clothing. So between these, I can go out on a shoot and get a lot done. But of course, I have a lot more gear than that. So let's take a look at what else is in my bag. Let's go to my next essential lens, which is my Canon 70 to 200 2.8 lens. And this is what I use for close-up shots, really tight headshots. This is going to be great for a beauty shoot. Between these two lenses, I've got from 24 to 200 at 2.8. This is my 1-2 punch. These two lenses together, I can shoot almost anything I need. However, I do live in New York City, and a lot of times I like to go shoot on the street or shoot out on location, and there's a lot of really busy backgrounds, and I want to simplify those backgrounds. So sometimes I want to work with fast primes, 1.2 lenses, for example, and I've got them in here as well. And I have a 50mm 1.2 Canon lens, and then I also have my 85mm lens. Now, between the four lenses that I've got here, 24 to 70, 70 to 200, 50, and 85 1.2s, those are the four lenses that I use most often. They give me the huge range that I need for the type of work that I do. In my bag, I've got a lot of other things. For example, I've got a red notebook. Sometimes that's going to be great when I need to jot down a potential client's information or sketch out an idea. So I always want that with me as well. And I've got a few other important pieces of gear. This one is incredibly important. I always have at least one portable hard drive, and I always use G-Tech because they're so reliable. They're such a great product. And so what I'm doing on a shoot is I've got a backup on my CF and SD cards, and then I've got a backup on one of my portable hard drives, and usually I have another hard drive as a second backup. So I've got 3 places where those files exist at all times. And this hard drive in particular is a USB 3. I also have a Thunderbolt hard drive so that I have really quick transfer times, which is really important, especially when I'm on the go on a shoot. Now, speaking of this, backing up my files and handling the files, I usually shoot tethered on a shoot. And what that means is that my camera is connected directly to my computer so that I can see the images that I'm capturing, but also my client can make sure that they're getting what they want. So in my bag, I'm going to need something to tether since it's something I do all the time. And so I've got two important things. First of all, I've got my Tether Tools tether cable. This is what I use to connect my camera into the computer. And so this one, again, really durable, really fast. I use this at all times. And of course, I've got my laptop. And I think it's amazing because this looks like such a small bag, but it holds a MacBook Pro 15-inch. And so with all of this, I'm ready to shoot. I have everything I need from start to finish. All right, so let's take a look what else is in my bag, the last couple of things. I do have a card reader, just in case I'm not shooting tethered and I want to be able to download my files. So I've got those. I also have a light meter. This one is a Saconic touchscreen, so it's really easy to use. I use this on location, shooting studio strobes on location as well. And then also in the bag, I'm always carrying with me a color checker. And this particular color checker is the X-Rite Passport color checker. In beauty photography, I want really true, beautiful skin tones. And in fashion photography, I want to make sure the color of those clothes are completely accurate for the designer. So when I photograph this with my subject, it's going to allow me to have accurate color. So I'm always carrying that in my bag as well. So the last thing that I have on the outside of the bag here are my cards, and I've got a little carrying case that has my SD and CF cards. The reason I'd like to carry it on the outside of my bag is it's quick and easy to get to, and then it's also safe because I can zip it. I think that if I have it in the inside of my bag, I might pull out a piece of gear and then it might fall out, so I usually keep these right here on the outside of my bag. So these are the essential pieces of gear that I use every single day. Now, granted, when I go out on location to do a shoot, I might need different pieces of gear that I'll bring along with me. Maybe it's going to be a tripod, or I'll take a B1, a Profoto B1 out on location, or maybe I'm shooting in the studio. But this is what you're going to be able to find that I'm using every day as my core gear. I'm Lindsay Adler, and you've just taken a look inside my camera bag.